So you watched Ningguang's basic guides and now you're wondering how to build her for like mid to late game. So in this video, we are going to look at her artifact grinding hell video, talk about some teams for her, some weapons for her, and go a little bit deeper into the artifacts. So to refresh, we are going to look at the Ningguang build that we are using in this video. My Ningguang is level 80 out of 80 with 16,000 HP, a 1300 attack, and EM 44. Her crit split 50 over 150 with 135 ER. Her weapon is going to be an R1 level 70 Solar Pearl. Her artifacts, Nighttime Whispers 4-piece. Constellations C6, talents 799. So we're going to go look a little bit deeper at the same team that we used in the basics guide, and that is going to be Chiori, Ningguang, Furina, and Benny. Now, of course, Furina and Benny work so well together. I talk about them in nearly every single video where the character is going to be a main DPS, and this is no exception. Now, the good thing too is that we have Furina and we have Benny causing elements, off-field damage, especially from Furina, so that way Ningguang can make some shields, can make some geo shields, right? Some crystallized shields, which is very, very important for her artifact set, specifically for her artifact set, because we want to make sure that we always have one of those shields up, so that way she does more damage. Doing that, you can see that she is actually hitting a fair good amount of damage. Obviously, if that crit rate was a little bit better or we had more attack, it would be much, much better. But this build on Ningguang, these individual artifacts are not super good. I just want to make sure that I'm showing off this set. With an even better artifact set, this is going to be, Ningguang can put out a lot of damage. Now, Ningguang does work really well with Chiori because Ningguang's skill is considered a Geo Construct, which means that Chiori can summon a second doll because my Chiori is C0, not C1. So they work together fairly well, making Ningguang our on-field damage dealer, having her deal most of the damage, Chiori being more of a sub-DPS or an off-field damage dealer versus an on-field. Now we do have Furina doing some buffing, Benny doing some buffing. Ningguang is going to enjoy the attack that comes from Benny's burst, and she's going to enjoy the damage buff from Furina. She is also going to enjoy the Geo Resonance. Chiori will also enjoy the Geo Resonance of having the two Geo characters in the same team, making the enemies weaker to Geo. So I do enjoy this team a lot. Chiori is my second favorite character, so of course I'm going to enjoy this team a lot. This does make Ningguang be that on-field DPS character, making her our main DPS. She's going to be doing a lot through her skill, doing a lot through her burst and then her charge attacks because she is C6, so she has the chance to do a ton of damage through her skill burst charge attack combo. So now we are going to look at the individual artifacts on Ningguang and talk about a couple different sets, some 4-piece and then some 2-piece, as well as a niche Ningguang build that I really want to test out more of. But for this one, we're going to look at Nighttime Whispers first. There's going to be a 2-piece effect of increasing attack. The 4-piece effect, after using the skill, you're going to get a Geo damage bonus, and then if they're under a shield created by Crystallize, specifically created by Crystallize, so like Kirara and Layla and Zhongli won't work unless Zhongli creates the Crystallize through the Geo, then it is going to increase the effect. So it is going to make her even stronger having whenever she has the crystallized shield on her. So we do need to make sure that we have enough off-field elemental application to allow her to create those Geo shards, those crystallized shards, to keep a shield on her. Now for the stats, the flower, attack percent, great. Crit rate, great. Crit damage, great. HP percent, not too great. It is going to make her Jade Screen stronger for like projectile attacks coming towards her, but it's not like super great, right? ER would be better there. We don't need a ton of ER on Ningi because she doesn't have a super high ER requirement, but having a little bit is going to be good. Like 135% is really good. You're going to notice at the very beginning and then later on that she's going to be able to use her burst pretty much off of cooldown. That is with 135 ER. Crit damage, crit rate, great. Flat HP, meh. Flat defense, meh. Right? We want attack percent on these and ER. So we want crit rate, crit damage, ER, attack percent. Those are the 4 best substats for Ningguang on these artifacts. Then of course we are going to do an attack sans. Now the rest of these artifacts suck, so get better ones than these if you can. Crit rate, defense percent, Ningi does not scale off of defense, flat defense, and HP. Again, we would want crit rate, crit damage, ER. The last substat on this one is not going to be as important. Geo damage goblet, of course. Crit damage, great. Defense percent, not good. Flat attack, not good. ER, great. There is some good ER on this. If we had some crit rate on this, it'd be even better. Then a crit damage circlet because we are running Solar Pearl. EM, okay. ER, great. Flat attack, meh. HP percent, we want attack percent, right? For weapons, Solar Pearl is going to be really, really good for her. This is a Battle Pass weapon, so you should be able to get it if you do the Battle Pass. It's going to get a crit rate, which is really good, but it's passive. Normal attacks make your skill and burst stronger. Your skill and your burst make your normal attack, and by extension, should be charged attack stronger as well. And with Ningguang, she is one of those characters where you're using all of her things, her normal attacks, her charge attack, her skill, and her burst regularly. So this is going to be a really, really good weapon, and it matches her aesthetics. Look at that. It doesn't match the blue outfit as much, but it does match the standard outfit. It looks really, really good on her. Now, if you don't have Solar Pearl, you can do something like Skyward Atlas if you've lost some of your 50/50s or you put on the standard banner. This is going to be really, really good. It has a chance to get her attack up to a really, really high degree. It's also going to increase her elemental damage bonus by 12%, which is also going to be good. The second passive is all right. I mean, it's just going to add extra damage, but it's not going to necessarily make Ningguang stronger, right? With this, though, it is without having a weapon that does crit rate or crit damage, it is a little harder to get a good split. But this is going to get her attack up super, super high and the elemental damage bonus, so this can be a really, really good weapon for Ningguang as well. Then, of course, we do have Widzith, which is going to be crit damage, which can be good. The passive, however, is really difficult to reliably use because you could either get an attack buff, an elemental damage buff, which are both really, really good for Ningguang. The EM buff is not. She's not like somebody like Yaimiko or Klee in a Vape team or Melt team where she can use all three of the passives. She can only use 2 of the 3. So if you don't roll one of the good passives, you're kind of out of luck for that time, right? So you'd have to just wait 10 seconds and then try to re-roll and get a different buff. So there is a luck mechanic to this one. I do talk about Ballad of the Boundless Blue in the basics guide, so if you want to know about that one, then go check it out there. Now, another option that you have is going to be something like a 2-piece Nighttime Whispers, 2-piece Archaic, which is going to get up attack and Geo bonus if you don't have a 4-piece Nighttime Whispers. Now, speaking of Archaic Petra, I do want to talk about a very niche Ningguang build that I would love to experiment with, and if you have done this, I'd love to hear your thoughts on it. So the 4-piece of this, upon obtaining an elemental shard created through crystallization, whatever elemental shield it gives you gives your team a 35% damage bonus of that element. So like if Ningguang created a shield that was electro and Raiden picked it up, it would increase her electro damage bonus by 35%. So that, coupled with something like Thrilling Tales, because she is a Catalyst user, I'm wondering how good it was. I've used it a couple times in co-op, and it was really, really fun in co-op because it was making all of my other friends stronger, right? If Zach was using Hu Tao, then I could give his Hu Tao a shield that would increase his pyro damage. If we were doing something with Ayaka, then I could give him a cryo shield. So I'm really wondering how it would work using Ningguang in this pure support role, right? I want to test it out. I want to build it just to try it. I'm not saying it's good. I'm not saying it's bad. I'm saying I want to test it. So if you have tested or you have thoughts on it, put it down in the comments below. Also, if you are on TikTok, because I'm going to leave that in the TikTok video, if you are on TikTok and you want to watch the full video, that is over on YouTube. I have to cut about 5 minutes, 5 to 10 minutes, sometimes 10 minutes out of the TikTok version of this video. Of all of these videos, including the basics guides. So now we're going to talk about a couple of other teams with Ningguang. In this example, we are going to replace Chiori with Navia. That is a sentence I never thought that I was going to say. So this is a really interesting team because Navia and Ningguang have a very interesting synergy where it's not so much of a quick swap team, it is like a 50% Navia, 50% Ningguang, where we're letting Navia come onto the field when she has full stacks or her burst is ready to go to then give her full stacks. And then we're using her skill, swapping her off, going back to Ningguang, letting Ningguang do a lot of damage as well. A good kind of set that you could do is do like 4-piece Whispers on Navia and 4-piece on Ningguang as well, because there's going to be so many elemental shards going around between Navia and Ningguang, and Navia needs them to stack up her skill damage. So you're almost always going to be under that effect, meaning that you can just always have that bonus. And then Navia and Ningguang are both going to be doing a ton of damage. And then, of course, we have Farina doing off-field hydro application. We have Farina's buffing. We have Benny's buffing. Navia and Ninggi are both scale off of attack and not defense like some other Geo characters, so they both can really appreciate that increase in attack that we get from Benny. So this is going to be another really, really good team. And like I said, you're going to be kind of like bringing Navia on, using her skill, hitting damage, then going back to Ningguang, using her skill that Navia can also walk through, using her burst, bringing her skill back up, then going back to Navia and using her skill again. And then by that time, Ninggi's burst might be ready again off of cooldown. Like, it's a really interesting back and forth between the two. Whereas with Chiori, Ningguang was having to stay on the field the majority of the time, and Chiori was much more of a sub or off-field DPS. In this one, Navia and Ningguang are just going to be swapping back and forth. Now, real quick to touch on our last team, if you don't have Chiori, if you don't have Navia, but you still want to use Ningguang, then you can just do Ningguang as your main DPS and then have a ton of off-field application. Like with Xiangling. We can have Xiangling's off-field Pyronado being buffed by Bennett, being able to get vapes off of Farina, and Ningguang being able to take use of Bennett's buff, Farina's buff, and then just increase the team's damage all throughout with Xiangling causing vaporized reactions. Just wanted to touch on that real quick. You can also do something like Fistule. You can do a lot of different stuff where you have a lot of off-field damage dealers. And the thing with Ningguang is with her being Geo, she's not going to mess up your other reactions. So if you just want to have her for a quick swap on, do some damage, swap off, having a little bit of a shield, then you can do that because her crystallized reaction is not going to actually mess up any of the other reactions going on, right? I didn't show it off in the basics guide, but I got to show off the Ninggi figure in this video, so got to show that off too. Now that is going to be it for this video. If you have any questions, do be sure to leave it down in the comments. Myself or someone else be sure to answer it, and I'll see you in the next one.